Quentin Tarantino, the big news of today that came randomly, and I had to do a double take at looking at this information. Just scrapped the Movie Critic, a movie I was highly anticipating. It's meant to come out next year, or at least shooting at the end of this year. It was meant to have, Brad Pitt. I think Tom Cruise was being attached to star in this one. But yeah, he'd written the draft of the script, he'd rewrote it, and then just simply had a change of mind. Those are the words that Deadline had said. But some new information we found out is that Cliff Booth from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, played by Brad Pitt, he was going to be kind of the main character in it. And yeah, we know the movie's about a movie critic for pornography movies. That was the main premise of the movie, which sounded interesting. I wanted to see what he could do with it. But Nayan, what are your thoughts on Quentin Tarantino just randomly changing his mind? Do you think this is because of the 10 film limit that he has?
Probably, which is also a silly idea. Like, I don't know why he just wants to stop after making 10, especially if he's making quality films. I mean, it's not as if he's like, Christopher Nolan, where he's like pumping out movies once every 3 years, or Yorgos, which is like once every year at this rate. So he can't really use the burnt out excuse. I mean, Martin Scorsese, we'll touch upon him later, but he's like 81 and he's still tuning out movies at high quality as well. So I'm not sure if he's just lost his love for making films, or if he was always like, when he first started directing, that he was like, I'll make 10 movies and then that's me done. I'm more than happy to.
Yeah.
To retire. But yeah, man, I was like, I was excited for this film as well, The premise was so interesting. Even more interesting now that Cliff Booth was going to be in it. Like, that's so bizarre, because isn't the Movie Critic based on a director or a book about a director or something like that, or a movie critic or something? I don't know. I could be wrong on that.
Yeah, it's like a movie. It's like, I think it's about a movie critic that does reviews pornography movies.
Yeah, and it's set in the 1970s as well, so that's like similar timeline as Hollywood, but it would have just been interesting to see how Cliff Booth would have rocked up into that. In fact, it makes it even more intriguing that it's even more stupid as to why he scrapped it, because that's just so intriguing that people will go to see it, be like, why is Cliff Booth here for? But the fact that he just dropped it completely without an explanation, like he didn't give us. He was just like, I've just dropped it. People ask him why. It's like, I don't know.
I mean, I just love the line, like, he simply changed his mind. I'm like, it just feels like such a Quentin Tarantino thing. But I mean, to address what you said before, he's always said just 10 movies. That's what I'm gonna do. I think he runs under the philosophy that once a director surpasses at 10 films, their work quality starts to go down. And some directors, I guess that may be true, but we've seen time and time again, Spielberg, Scorsese, those are the easy ones where they've gotten even better after every movie, so it's a dumb philosophy to live by. I think it's really going to hurt his final film by the end of things, just because it feels like we had a good movie here, and he was getting the right talent on board for it. And he's at least how I view it, is that he's looked at the script and been like, it's not good enough for my 10th one, not for my final movie. It has to be perfect. And so we could be at least 5-6 years away from getting this final movie if he is aiming for that perfect final one to cap things off, which is why it's just a silly idea to try and go out, with the perfect film, because, hey, guess what? Perfect movie does not exist. So, yeah, I think it's just a silly way for a silly idea from him. So I hope he changes his philosophy on that, and he can just kind of loosen up a bit with it. Just make good movies. I think that's all you need to do.
Big plot twist is that he's just said he scrapped it just for like media, but he's secretly working on it behind the scenes, and then just out of nowhere he'll drop a trailer for it. And everyone's just like, the fuck?
Oh, I mean, I would be hyped for that. I hope he does that. But the Cliff Booth thing, man, like, now I want to see it even more, just to see how that would have looked or how it would have felt. I'd be so down for it. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is one of my favorite movies ever. So I would love to see the character back again, and Rick Dalton. I'd love to see him back too. That would be
fuck yeah, my guy. He's my guy.
Yeah. So yeah, it's sad, but I mean, if he wants to go out with the perfect movie, then he can try. But yeah, I would just say, just keep making good movies, and then when you make the movie and you're like, oh, I put everything into that. I love this one. This one's the best work I've ever done. That's when you can leave it all at the table and just, go pursue other creative projects in your life, I guess. But hey, we aren't Quentin Tarantino, and I'm not going to be mad at Tarantino for wanting to make the perfect movie, because if he does, then hey, we all win, right?
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah. What about you guys, though? What do you think about this news? Do you really want to see this movie now? What are your thoughts on Cliff Booth? Apparently was going to be in the film. Whatever it is, what have you thought down below? Just let us know down below. I don't think I even said that correctly, but you guys know what to do anyway. Comment below.